Hi everyone, welcome to Tom's Manshed. Okay, today's review is on a fantastic new webcam I've got, and you're watching me on it right at this minute, so I can't show you the webcam in my hand, but I'm going to show you the box it comes in and explain it a bit, what it does, and the reason I've gone for this over my digital SLR, which I usually use to do these YouTube channels. So, first of all, I'll show you what I usually use. Ever since I started this YouTube channel, I filmed it all. Just let me sort it out. I filmed it all on this. It's a Canon M50 mirrorless digital SLR. It's a fantastic bit of kit. So I've had it about 4 years. 2018 I think it came out, and yeah, I got it around about then, and it's been great. But I've put that behind the monitor with it just peeping up above the monitor, and on top of this I have quite a big LED panel, and then I flip out the screen so that I can see myself on the screen, and I connect it with a HDMI lead to the PC and a lead to a dummy battery in here to a wall plug, so I never run out of battery power. And that's what I've been using ever since. I'll show you on my phone now. I filmed it on my phone, the tripod in position, and where I usually put the light. At the moment I've got the light, I've altered the light to mount on the ceiling. I'll explain it in this video. This is one I did earlier on my phone. Okay, so this is how I normally have it set up. With me, my monitor is here, of course. I've got my Canon M50 there. This is the way I always film my YouTube videos. And usually, on top of the hot shoe here, I have this light. And it's pretty, as you can see, it's a pretty bright light. And that makes things much, much better for the camera. And I used to have that on top there on the hot shoe, but I've recently put these shelves up for some new 3D prints I've just done. I'll be doing a video about these soon if you're interested. Come out really well, and as you can see it would have caught on there, so I've wired it in permanently to a little ball joint on the ceiling. So that's sort of my existing setup, or what was my existing setup, and this is me setup now. So as you can see, that was the setup I had, but the problem with that was, even though the picture was fantastic, every time I wanted to use the Canon, because it's the only camera I've got, every time I wanted to use that for filming like outside the car or any tool reviews, filming outside, sawing, drilling, whatever, I had to take the camera off it, set it all up, put a battery in it, put the SD card in, go outside, film it. When I'd finished, bring it all back, take the battery out, put the dummy battery pack in so it doesn't run out of power when I'm filming these, put it all back. It was a bit of a bind. So I thought about using a webcam, but the problem with webcams is, from my experience, they're not that good. I'll just show you one I had at the back of the room here. Hang on. So yeah, I've just got this off the other PC at the back. Yeah, it's a Logitech 920, which is a well-respected webcam, and in its day it was pretty good. It's still pretty good today. If all you're going to use it for is Zoom and things like that, it's absolutely fine. But it's 1080p only, but the focus isn't that quick or anything like that, and it doesn't do 4K. And the colours aren't fantastic. It's nothing like as good as a digital SLR, which was the reason I started using it. But just recently I've done a few reviews on this camera, which is the Insta 360 Link. And I thought, should I get it? It's 287 quid, nearly 300 quid. Now that's a lot of money for a webcam. You could get a second-hand one of these M50s for that. But there's nothing new that will, for that sort of price, which will outperform this, as you'll see. Now, the good thing about this is it can be there on its own. It takes up no room. It's great in low light. I'll be showing you all this. And it leaves me free to use the Canon just to go out and film and do the other filming on. So from now on, all my filming will be on this. And I'll be doing it in 4K. I'm pretty sure I'll be doing it all in 4K because of how good this is in 4K. Now, this video, as all my videos, is going to be pretty long. It was turning out much longer than I thought. I was going to do like a full review of the camera with all these screens and its built-in menus and everything, explaining everything, and I was going to show it compared to the Canon M50 using the internal mics of both, the external mic that I'm using now and everything, but it would have been well over an hour, probably an hour and a half. So I'm splitting this video into two, not quite as long, but still quite long videos. So this first one is going to be the comparing of the two cameras, and then part two is going to be an in-depth review of the Insta360 Link, going through every single one of its menus, every button on its built-in control sort of system, and every page, and setting it all up and showing you everything it can do, because there's tons and tons and tons it can do. So I won't go into that too much now, but this one is just going to be to compare it and a quick demo of how good this camera is. So again, here it is from Insta360, who are well known for their 360 cameras, and it's called the Link. This is where I got it from. I got it from eBay. Now, I don't normally get things from eBay. I usually get from Amazon. But this seller had a good rating, and it was 40 quid cheaper, as you'll see in a second, from eBay, and I can confirm it was a fantastic service. So I would recommend this seller. I ordered it on the I ordered it on the Thursday and it came on the Friday. Royal Mail, first class delivery, as good a service as Amazon, and it was tracked and everything. This is it on Amazon, my preferred shop, due to its brilliant returns and stuff like that. But on Amazon, as you can see, it's 319 quid. That's the cheapest price I could find it as of end of February, beginning of April 2023 on Amazon. And the place I bought it from was this one here. Now, I don't usually use eBay. I will use it, but I don't like using eBay because of the way, I've mentioned this before, but the way they treat their the sellers is horrible. They just believe fraudulent buyers, treat the sellers like dirt, and I stopped selling on eBay ages ago. But I do buy the odd thing if it's a good rated seller and it's the right price. So I can definitely recommend this one here, this DGELT, so DGE Limited, 99.9% positive feedback. I ordered this on the, Saturday today? I ordered it on Thursday and it came Friday. So absolutely as fast as Amazon. It was from Royal Mail delivery with tracking and everything. And I can't fault it. It was well packed, genuine item, and a good deal. How much was the other one? 318.78, so 88.98. So £40 cheaper on from this guy on eBay. So like I say, really good value, and I could definitely recommend this genuine seller. So in the box you get the camera, which you'll see in close-up later on, because I'll be filming it with the Canon, but obviously I can't show it in my hand. So you get a little camera, and it's on a gimbal, like on a drone, but like I said, I'll be showing that in detail later. You get a USB-C to USB-C lead with it, which is only 1.5 meters long. It could have done with being 2 meters long. It wasn't quite enough to stretch to my PC, which is here on the desktop. If you had it on the floor, again, from the floor up to a monitor, 1.5 meters is stretching it. So 2 meters would have been better. I had a 2 meter USB-C to USB-C lead, so that's what I'm using, and that's plugged direct in the back of the PC. You get a USB-C to USB-A adapter in case you haven't got a spare USB socket on your PC, and that's about it. That's all you get, as well as the obligatory little safety things and quick start guide. So briefly, you can see how good this camera is. It's in 4K now, and the Canon is a pain in 4K. I only ever filmed in 1920 by 1080p, which is full HD. But you'll see shortly on the Canon how bad the autofocus is on 4K. On this, the Insta Link, is fantastic. On the Canon, it's really ropey in 4K. That's why I always filmed in 1920 by 1080p full HD on the thing. Now, full HD is good enough for YouTube head-to-head talks like this. But the good thing about 4K is I can, if I'm holding something up close, I can crop in on that. And again, I'll be doing all that in detail shortly. And you can get, because there's a lot more pixels, you get a much better picture, obviously. But to show you how good the focus is and how snappy it is on this, just look at it. Like I said, we're in 4K now, and it's got my face. Look at that, straight into it, and as I move it away, watch how quick it gets my face again. Brilliant. There, hold it close, away, hold it close, away. Absolutely superb, and it's just as good in 1920p as well. Now, also being on a gimbal, obviously it's got pan and tilt, so you can set it to folio, but I'll be doing this, like I say, in detail on the actual camera review, which is part 2. But you can see it does things like this. It'll follow you around the room, auto zoom in, zoom out, all sorts of features. Again, far too many to put in this video. So look out for part 2, which will be coming very soon. I've filmed most of it, so it'll be uploaded within a week of this one. Basically, that's all I want to show you in this video on the camera. I'll go through everything else in part 2. But I do want to show you the difference between the built-in mic of the Link and the built-in mics of the Canon compared to a sort of proper mic like that, which is, it's an older, but it's a good one, SAMSON Meteor. And as you'll hear, the built-in mic on the Canon is a bit better quality mic than the Insta in sound, but the Insta has got noise cancelling, and it does cancel the background noise quite well. When I did it, I purposefully put my 3D printer fans on to create a bit of background noise, and you will hear how good it is at stopping that and how the Canon isn't. Yeah, that's it. That's what this video is about, the side-by-side review of them two. So let's get straight into that now. So this is the 4K footage from the Insta360 Link. You're hearing the sound now, as will be most of this video, apart from when we're comparing the sound on this, the mic I always use, the SAMSON Meteor, and it's going through the NVIDIA noise reduction. I'll show you the differences very soon on that. And like I said, the video, as you can see, is absolutely spot on. Really crisp. So I've got the overhead light on now. I'll show you the difference with it on and off in a bit, but first of all, we'll do the sound comparison. I'm going to turn this mic off now, and then I'm going to turn on to... This is now the mic, the built-in twin mics of I'm not going to keep calling it the Insta360 Link. I'll just call it the Link camera. So these are the mics in the Link. They are supposed to be noise cancelling mics. And if you listen in the background, I've got the fans running to give some background noise of the printer. And if you listen, you probably won't be able to hear much background noise. I'll do a bit of jingling here on the desktop as well. Throw up some cables from my thumbs, and I'll click on the door just a couple of clicks to see how it cancels the noise. And if we turn the internal mics off now, we'll go back onto the SAMSON, but not through the NVIDIA noise reduction thing. So this is the SAMSON with no noise reduction, and you will definitely hear the background noise of the fans. So we're now, like I say, using the SAMSON mic, so the sound quality is better, but you will hear background noise. You can hear them fans. It's a very, very quiet printer. Check one of my other videos for that. They sound worse on the mic than they are. It's not really that loud in this room. I can barely hear it. It's just a hush in the background, a hum in the background. But without any noise reduction, you can hear that. If I turn the mic off now and use the same mic through the NVIDIA noise reduction, actually I'll do the squidging around the same clunks and clangs, and now we'll just turn that off. And this is the same mic, but this time going through NVIDIA's noise reduction, which is fantastic. It uses a compatible graphics card. I think it has to be an RTX graphics card, which I've got, but their noise reduction is brilliant, and you shouldn't hear any background noise now. And the same squidging around, drumming fingers and plunk in the back. The door handle shouldn't make as much noise. So that's a sound test. Again, we'll take the internal mic of the Canon in a bit. So we'll stay on this mic now. So that's the difference between the microphones. Now, one great thing this camera's got, it focuses really, really fast. I'm going to show you shortly the Canon and how poor the autofocus is in 4K. It's okay on full HD, 1920 by 1080, which is what I normally do on my YouTube vids in, but not in 4K. So if I hold this up now, and I'll hold it near to the lens and just see how quick it focuses. And then to me, and then to that, to me, to the card. So you can see it's really, really good. It's set the focus in the middle, like on the face. If I hold it here, see it doesn't focus on there, but as soon as I bring it to the middle, it does, and can hold it pretty close. And there's no hunting around. So yeah, you can see how close you get. So I'm about 5 inches from the lens now. If I move it out of the way, gets me face immediately. Gets the card, gets me face. So you've got to hold it in the middle. You've got to be quite accurate where you hold it, but once you get in the right place, focus really, really snappy. And like I said, wait till you see the difference on the Canon in 4K. So I'm adding this bit now. I've just realised during editing that I didn't show you how the link camera was in very low light, i.e. next to nothing. So it's a few hours later now, but and it's got night time, so it's even darker in here than it was when I tested the Canon. But I'm going to turn this main light above me off and the room lights, and just to show you how it is in low light. And we're back down to 1920 by 1080 now on the link camera to make it an even test, because the light test I did on the Canon was exactly at that same resolution. So I'll turn this one off first. So that's with just the room lights on. They're on full. I'll turn them off now, and we're pretty much in blackness then, really. So Alexa, set dimmer at 0%.
Okay.
So the only illumination in here now is the monitor. That's the monitor you can see shining in my face, and you can see up here the reflection of the PC in there. So there's some RGB lights coming from the PC. But other than that, this room, looking around, is in pretty much darkness. There's I've got the outside light coming on, but there's nothing coming in. I've got the blind shut of into the shed, and yeah, to say it's pretty much black. I'm looking around me at the door behind me. I can vaguely see it, but I can see it better through the camera. So yeah, total darkness. It's much better. I'll leave the main lights off in the room, and I'll just turn this one overhead light on. So it just shows you that's all you really need now. And that's pretty clear. And if I turn the main lights on now, Alexa, set dimmer at 100%.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think it's better in low light than it's hard to say. The Canon's very good as well, but in really low, I think this might just have the edge. I'm not sure. So let's have a look at the Canon now, and again we'll be checking it in low light and its internal mics. And as you'll hear, the internal mic on the Canon is slightly better in actual sound quality, but it has no noise cancellation whatsoever, so you will hear it picking up the background noise of the fans. But the thing that will surprise you the most is how poor the Canon is in 4K on its autofocus. So let's check that out now. Okay, so I've lined up the Canon camera as to try and get exactly the same frame. The edge of the shot is just on the edge of the window frame there. The Canon lens is slightly wider. I've zoomed in a bit to match the link frame, but if you see, I've got about tiny tad more, so I've zoomed out a bit more. So that's where I normally have it when I'm doing the YouTube video. So I'm just recording this onto the camera's SD card and using its internal microphones. So let's just have a listen how good this is at eliminating the noise. I'll listen after, and I don't think it's as good as the link at eliminating noise, but it's not as good. Neither is as good as using the proper microphone, the Meteor mic through the NVIDIA noise cancelling. So just doing this bit using its internal mics, because I've not got this rigged up to OBS or anything like that. It's just filming onto the SD card, just to show you the difference. So this is it in 1080p, and I'll show you the focus on this. Reasonably snappy, but wait till I show you on 4K. So again, gets me pretty good. Just a tiny bit slower then, but pretty good. With the light out, I'll show you like I did before with the other. This is the light on, every light in the room on, and the light panel. So I'll show you now with the light out. So yeah, goes slightly warmer. Don't think it adjusts to the light out quite as good as the link camera, but yeah, still looks at a good picture even with just the room lights on. If I turn the room lights out, Alexa, turn off dimmer.
Okay.
So that's the room now with no lights whatsoever, just a tiny bit of light that's coming through the window, but with the blind down. So I'll turn the lights on again. Alexa, turn dimmer to 100%.
Okay.
So that's that. And we'll turn the overhead light on again. So we'll switch over now to 4K on the Canon, and I'll show you it crops the picture massively. There's a massive crop on 4K on the Canon, and the focus is quite bad, as you'll see. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so this is now the Canon in 4K. I won't show it in low light, I'll just show you the difference in the zoom and that. Got all the lights on in the room, but you can see now it has cropped the picture in a lot. It's in exactly the same position. I've not moved the tripod 1mm, and I'm sat in exactly the same position, but you can see before it was much further down the chest. You could see the badge on me shirt, and you can see the pictures behind. You can't even see the 3D printer at the back now, and half this picture is cut off. But the worst bit to me about the 4K is you can see usually as well the focus hunting around. I've got head tracking, obviously it's not, doesn't move like it's not on a gimbal like the other, but the focus does struggle. So if I show you that now, you can see it's not even focusing. Oh, there, right, it's got it. Now if I'm moving out the way quick now, watch how fast it goes to me face. On the link it does it immediately. Much slower. And if I put the thing in front of the camera again, oh, so it's not even focused this time. There, just about. And then move it. Voila. And if I sort of move around, it really does struggle on focus. If I was demonstrating something, finally gets there. And like I said, when I was trying it the other day, it was, you could see beating around in the background some of the focus. So yeah, not great, and a very cropped image on the Canon. Hence I always use it on a 1080p. So back on the link now at full 4K. Now YouTube, when you upload videos to YouTube, they do their own sizing and everything, and you don't always see, particularly a head-to-head shot like this, it isn't always necessary to be in 4K. 1080p looks good enough. But the one advantage that I will have is, in quite a lot of my videos, I'm holding stuff up to the camera to show it in close-up. If I want to sort of crop that picture and zoom in digitally in Premiere, if it's in normal HD, you lose a lot of resolution. Obviously, there's not as many pixels. So I'm going to show you the difference now. So this is in 4K, and I'm going to film it shortly in 1080p, and then crop in and get this little leaflet the same size, and you'll see the difference on screen. Right, so I'm going to hold something now nearer the lens and the same distance when I'm doing it in 1080p, and we'll see the difference. So if we look at that there, now I'm going to take a freeze frame of this, a screen grab in Premiere when I'm editing it, and then try and crop into this to see the difference. So this is it in filming it in 4K, and we'll now go to show you the difference, what everything looks like in 1920p. You won't again notice much difference by the time it's got to YouTube, but you will want to crop into that little leaflet there. Okay, so this is it now. We'll just film the same bit in 1080p, and I'm going to hold this leaflet exactly the same position on the thing, and like I say, in Premiere I'm going to crop into this and zoom in digitally, and that should show you the difference in clarity. I'm hoping we'll be able to read the text on the 4K version, and maybe not on this. So again, just as good. Focus in and out in 1920 in 1080p. So what I've done now in Premiere, like I say, is crop them little leaflets in top and bottom, try and get the scale exactly the same, and zoom in digitally till they're the same size, and you should definitely see the difference in resolution. Let's have a look at that. So here we are. On the left you can see the full 4K one, and on the right you can see the 1080p one. So I've zoomed in to get the scale the right size. If you look at like the Insta 360 bit at the top, they're both roughly the same physical size. And if you compare the clarity of the text on the left, on the 4K version, it's much clearer than the 1080p version on the right. You can easily read the left one, but you're beginning to struggle to read some of the words on the one on the right, the 1080p version. And if we sort of like take a screen grab of that actual 2x2 and zoom in on that, again you can see the words at the top. The text is about the same size physically, but on the left it's a lot clearer. You can see the words like that, the hardware. And yet on the right, the 1080p version, you can just about sort of make out. You can see products, and you can see is that minerals or whatever. So you're beginning to struggle to read the text. So that shows you how much clearer 4K is than 1080p once you digitally zoom in after, because there's so many more pixels there to give the clarity. So as you can see there, the picture was good on the Canon, but the autofocus in 4K absolutely terrible. And I did show you, zoomed in on the crop, the advantages of having 4K as well. But yeah, I do absolutely love this camera. Like I say, a lot of money, nearly 300 quid. But when you consider what you're getting, wait till you see part 2, what this little thing can do. The features are fantastic. Again, one thing I had to do on this was, when I've done the filming, if I was doing a demo here, like soldering or just showing an object drop down, I had to rig up the tripod and tilt the thing forward and tilt it down and rig up a light and everything, and then unrig it all and rig it up for the thing. On this, it's got a feature called desktop, and it just makes it sort of motors down to about 45 degrees, and it makes it look like an overhead shot. Again, I'll show you that in part 2. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I think I'm going to really like this, and it's going to save me a lot of hassle. So yeah, I hope this has been of some use in showing how good it is. Keep tuned for part 2 to see all the million and one things the little thing can do. So as always, I'll put a link below to the guy I got it from off eBay. I'll also put a link to one on Amazon, even though it's about 40 quid more. They are affiliated links, so if you do click on them and buy something from that browsing session, I do get a small sort of commission, a few pence commission, which helps keep the channel going. So hopefully it's been of some use to you, this. If you haven't already subscribed, please click the little picture of the shed here and subscribe, and then click the bell icon below and you'll be informed of any new uploads. And I hope to catch you for part 2 coming very soon. See you then. Bye for now.